right, on the same avenue as we're talking about homelessness, the national law, this is homelessness in chapter 8 on page 200, and it goes, it's a pretty large section. It goes over to page 202. There's a lot in here. Please read that section. You can't be prepared enough for the clientele that you're going to be experiencing in the near future. The National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty estimates that more than 3 million people in the United States are without shelter at some point during a year. 3 million. That is unbelievable. Many low-income families spend 50% of their income on rent rather than the recommended 30%. Now, I'm not saying that rent is a bad thing, but if you're renting and not being able to save some at the same time, then there's a problem. So 50% of their income is being spent on rent. That sounds like way too much rent payment. The U.S. Conference of Mayors reports that unemployment is the major cause of homelessness in the 29 cities surveyed. I can understand that. We have experienced a great fall in the economic status of America, and so our folks are paying for it. 3 in 10 members of the homeless population have jobs. So it's not they're not working, it's just they're in a low-paying job that is getting them nowhere. Homeless families comprise around 1/3 of the homeless population. And in the United States, more than 1.6 million children, or 1 in 45, are homeless at some time during a year. 1 in every 45 students. That is one too many. So we're going to have to do something to help these students get a better start, or this trend will continue. Nearly half of the homeless children are under 6 years old. So it's not like they can help themselves. It's not like they can go get a job. They're not old enough. They don't understand. So moving frequently is a characteristic of low-income families, with many of them moving to different housing annually. Probably they get to a point where they can't afford the rent in one place. They'll stay till they get booted out. Then they move somewhere else and start renting there. That's why there's so many moves. And when children are moving that often, no stability, and they are not functioning as well in school as they could be. Almost 9 in 10 of the nation's homeless students are enrolled in school, although less than 4 in 5 attend school regularly. All right, remember the discussion we had in 2010 at-risk students. That's where they're falling in at. A high-quality education offers homeless children a chance for academic and economic success. To ignore them because they do not have a home or are not well groomed deprives them of the opportunity to rise above their current circumstances. Once again, where are those programs? What can we do to support our students? What can we do to support our families, in our communities? I live, as I told you earlier, I live just, hop and a skip from Hillcrest, and didn't realize a few years ago how bad the situation had gotten. Sometimes we get in our own world and we assume everybody, you can remanage, or you can let a few things go, or you don't have to necessarily have this, and you can make the ends meet. But if you don't have those things to begin with, and you've just got the basic necessities, then how can you get rid of anything? And then to our mentality, I'm not sure we're being raised to understand it's okay if we have to lose something. I don't know. It seems like we struggle with that in our society. Text me, stop the movie, text me a response. Are you surprised at the amount of homeless children, or were you aware that it was happening in your community?